So, I just got done my video for the intellectual. I wanted to really get into the emotional on top of that, um, or like back to back with that, because like if you're learning about like the Adam and Eve process and like the feminine masculine energy, if you know anything about like the elemental stuff or like astrology at all, you'll know about like masculine and the feminine energy. You'll know about the balance. So earth and water are feminine, and air and fire are masculine. Um, so with the emotional energy is like all about like the water. Um, it's all about like uh, so I can kind of like say to you this way. Sometimes when I'm hanging out with my kids, they will say some really off the wall stuff, but they're hilarious, which I love. But like, and even sometimes with like my friends, if they really understand me and they're trying to be funny, like I will just laugh to the point where I will start crying. Like I will be crying laughing. Um, and we know when we're sad and we're depressed, like we can really cry. Um, Also, if you watch, I was watching a movie with my son, and it's called The Wild Robot. And literally, I cried, and he's like, "Why are you crying? Like, it's just a movie." Um, it's along the lines of Bambi. So, for anybody that knows the storyline of Bambi, um, I cried in that movie too, and I watched that one when I was tiny. Um, but anyway, um, enough about that. Um, but yeah, like that that water, those tears are a way to release that emotion from the physical vessel. Um, so we know, well, I'll speak broadly. Um, we know that emotions can trigger like thoughts, and then those thoughts can then trigger more emotions. So it can kind of like get into that cycle. And I really don't want to focus on like the negative cyclical crap that can happen between like the masculine of thinking and the feminine of feeling. Um, because that's something that once you understand the interplay, you can use it to fix dynamics um, that maybe have been out of whack for you. Um, and I was just having this conversation with my friend, which is what made me really want to come on here and do this video right now while I'm thinking about it and having just had this conversation um, as well. So it's fresh in my mind. Um, so when I was younger, I had an issue with reading. Like my eyes did not work correctly. I don't know if I had one that just was out of whack or whatever. But when I would read, both pages of text would kind of like merge, and it would be very hard for me to kind of like separate them like in my head so that I could actually read coherently. Um, so for me, it wasn't until like I got out of school pretty much um, when I actually started enjoying reading. Um, because I love information. I like to figure things out. I like to connect dots. I like to read into things, to think about things 8,000 ways to Sunday. That is me. Mental gymnastics is my favorite sport. Um, so for me, like that didn't come until later. So up until that point, um, reading was a very obnoxious thing. I had a lot of ego about like reading. Like my stance on reading was like it is good for nothing. Like it's pointless. Whatever. It's useless. I hated reading. Like I wouldn't even go near books. Like it was not one of my favorite things by a long shot. Um, I started reading like things that were just interesting to me. Like I would sit in the hallway of my house and just read encyclopedias. Um, we had a set of encyclopedias that were Jacques Cousteau, um, and they were all about like sea life all around the planet. And I always loved ocean animals. So that was like a really good place for me to start because I was inquisitive and it's something that I really wanted to learn about. And so that had kind of like set that pace for me to be able to, you know, go at my own pace. And as I got more and more confident about like my reading skills and my taste in books kind of like expanded, um, I got really, really good at reading. And I, like I said, now I'm a nerd. I would be happy being a librarian. I love books. I love books. I love talking to people about different points of view. Um, I'm not one of those people that is like, oh, this is the way it is, and that's the only way it is, and you need to listen to me because I'm right. That is not who I am. That's not what I do. That's not how I function. Um, everybody lives a different life. It's like everybody has different perspective of the same situation. So what makes you think like even if you grew up in the same house, you didn't have the same experience because you were not in your siblings' shoes ever. Um, so it's different because like now if I talk to like my younger brother or I talk to like my younger sister and they're like, "Well, do you remember this?" And I'm like, I don't remember that because that was not my experience. That was your experience. Um, and so we've had a lot of these conversations about like perception and perspective and um, like the different dynamics that we each experience, even if we're at the same place at the same time doing the same thing, the experience can be very different. Um, so, yeah. Um, so that interplay between like the intellect and the emotions can be a very very healthy thing um, to help you move through like past trauma and things like that. But the only thing is that you need to be willing to kind of accept that the intellectual part of it is not dependent on the emotional part, and the emotional part is not dependent on the intellectual part. Um, I was talking to my ex-husband about this at my kid's birthday. Well, after we were cleaning up together and we were having kind of that conversation about like forgiveness and about like people who have really left you deep wounds emotionally, and how like getting that apology from them or like getting that intellectual piece, like maybe you know their perspective about what happened, like, well, this was my intention and like I didn't mean for this stuff to happen, um, how that can be emotionally satisfying to whatever wound that you're dealing with. Um, but in a lot of cases, you don't get that. Like either that person like moves, or sometimes in my ex's case, his dad passed away before they had a chance to reconcile. Um, so he's gone through a lot of that stuff without, any sort of explanation or apology or anything at all. Um, so, there can be definitely one without the other. Um, just by switching a perspective and how you look at things and be like, well, what was that person kind of like going through at the time? Like, what was the intention, maybe? Um, but like you can heal from either side. It just depends what's going to be more productive for you personally. Um, it can be done. Like I know things for my myself personally. Um, and like things with my mother. Um, we don't talk a lot. Um, but like it took me a while. Like I was still hurt about like how she treated me as a child for like the longest time. Like I don't know what I did to her, but it always felt like she hated me. Um, and that's pretty painful for a child to feel like your parents hate you. Um, or even a parent hates you. Um, but like I don't know, I kind of like grew up kind of like m- moved 300 miles away. That'll tell you something. Um, but it's just, I don't know. It's just like, I don't even know how to explain that. Like, she apologized like later in life. And she was like, I realized like I didn't treat you guys probably the way that I should have, and things like that. And at that point, like, it didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over it. I'm an adult. I'm done. I'm done. I don't need an apology anymore. Um, I'm just going on about my life now. Um, so it's like I don't want to say like it's a waste of breath because like for her to like be in a place where she sees that and she's like, "Damn, I'm sorry." Like that for her must be like a really big hit to her ego, like as a mom. Being like to apologize to your kids because like you feel like you did them a disservice in the way that you raised them. Um, so that it didn't change much for me, but I think it changed a lot for her. Because like I said, I was already like over it. Like I said, like we still don't talk a lot, but um, I forgive her. Like she is who she is, um, and I understand that like a lot of things in her life weren't great. Um, so I'm not gonna be like, well, you should have just been better. A lot of people are very ill-equipped to handle those types of situations, especially having kids at such a young and unstable age to begin with. Um, so life goes on. um, I know this one kind of like got a little serious or whatever, but I'm just gonna throw it out there for anybody that's like struggling. Just know that your healing is not dependent on anyone else. You can heal with or without, you know, the the extra things that maybe you want. You can heal without them. Like you don't need them. If it's your expectation like oh, well, if that person apologized, then I'd be able to get over it. No. Nope. Nope. That's not the way that works. Once you're ready to get over it, you'll get over it. And if you're not ready, then you won't. Um, it's just that simple. Um, Literally that simple. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna leave this one off. Um, but yeah, just know that like one is not dependent on the other, and this one is not dependent on that one, vice versa. Um, it's just it's just you and your timing and your perception and your true desire for, I don't know, a specific outcome or the ability to heal. Um, I don't know exactly. Everybody's going for a different. We're not all the same. Some people want to heal. Some people want to feel validated. Some people want other things. It just depends on who you are and where you are in your journey. Um, and that's not saying anything bad about anything that anybody's been through. We're all in different places. So yeah, you guys just know that like healing is possible, um, and the only thing that your healing is truly dependent on is not time. It's not strength. It's not anything. It's just you. It's just you. When are you ready to put that down and walk away? When are you ready to move on with you? With you. I don't know. I can't let the way my mom treated me growing up define my whole life. It's not who I am. It's not who you guys are. You know? The shit is always going to be the shit. That's it. But do you want to sit there and lay in it? Or do you want to get up and get on with life? Because there's always going to be that pit there. You know what I mean? Maybe someday you just need to go back out there and step in it to remember what it feels like. Maybe you need to remember how horrible that shit feels to be able to be like, yep, no, I'm gonna go that way. Do you know what I mean? Some days we need that, and some days we don't. Um, but yeah, don't get down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Like we're all in different places, but I think in the long run, um, we're all gonna make it to some degree or another. But if you ever need a hand out of the pit, if you ever decide you're done and you want help getting out, you send me a message. I'll be happy to help you. I'll build you a ladder. I'll throw you a rope. We'll send you a cow. Whatever will make you happy on your voyage. We will get you out. We will. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think we talked about books and emotional intellectual interplay. We talked about the emotions. We talked about the whole apology dynamic. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave this one. So I will talk to you guys soon. It might be later today if another nugget falls out of the sky on me. Or it may be tomorrow. I think I'm going to double up on a couple videos so that I can catch up. Because I haven't been around for like a week, so I have a little time to make up stuff. Alright, I will talk to you guys soon.